Rocking and rolling.
Oh, live video missing. Your YouTube stream ended because broadcast.
It says it's live on my end.
Do you want to continue recording?
We're
Okay.
live. Yep, we're live. have it pulled up on my computer as we.
Perfect. We should probably quit shaking my microphone or my camera around. We got a notification that we ended our recording and we just started our recording. So I don't know.
Ooh, excuse me.
As usual, we are starting
A
off
mess.
like we know what we're doing and just have this completely down. So I think my sound is better. Do I sound more present? Or
I
is it you're not
your
wearing headphones? What
your
was
your sound's always been fine on my side. It's only
Oh,
on the
okay.
record side.
On the recording. Well, I am louder in
No.
my ears this week than I was last week. Um
Oh,
so hopefully I
yeah,
went into the settings, boosted my microphone a little bit,
that's good.
and yeah, I'm back in my office. Back in my office. So
Yeah,
alrighty.
you're all settled in. It's
Are we ready?
dark.
Do you want to go ahead and am I dark? Or it's dark outside? I didn't
Dark
close the
outside.
curtain. I didn't close the curtain. Alrighty, let's light this candle. Welcome to Take It Down a Notch with Rob.
And Lindsay,
There you go. Look at. Okay.
okay, you'll get it eventually. I believe in you.
Yeah, there's probably some sort of mental block there or something.
Let's just call it being old. Let's call it what it is. You're old.
A little bit of senility going on there. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh,
I'm
are
really
you?
good. It's been quite the exciting week. I started back at work this week, and which was kind of a whirlwind. And then um, on Tuesday night, some of my friends here told me that they were planning on going to Paris on Wednesday, the next day. And I was like, hey, can I come? And they're like, yeah, totally. And so I booked a train ticket and went to Paris with them for the day yesterday. And it was fabulous. It was a fabulous day. We went ice skating in the Grand Palais, which is they have like Fashion Week and stuff. So it was very, very cool. And then
Oh,
we went to Notre Dame and we spent like 2 hours in Notre Dame walking around and looking at everything. And then we got to sit in on a mass. And it was my first Catholic ceremony I've ever
oh,
watched. I've seen like a few glimpses here and there visiting churches before, but I normally try to get out of the way because it's for me it's a little uncomfortable to like be visiting a church while people are trying to be worshiping and stuff like that.
right.
Um, but it was really really cool and really beautiful. And Notre Dame, they absolutely redid everything. It is beautiful. There's some things in the back that like they had to redo it because of the smoke and water damage, and it there's no way that it looked like that, the day before the fire. It probably doesn't
Right.
look like that for 100 plus years
Right.
because of like decay of time, and
Yeah.
especially with all the candles that are lit in churches and the incense and stuff.
Yeah.
One of my friends was saying that like because of that, a lot of the color is dampened,
Yeah.
and so there was just parts of it that I was like, "Whoa, this is like the brightest, most colorful church I've ever seen." It's so white inside, like all the
Hmm.
stone, like it is just gorgeous.
It's a
Also,
brand new, really old church.
it's a brand new, really old church. It just was gorgeous, and the lights, like they have all these big chandeliers. I don't know if I've
Hmm.
ever seen chandeliers in a church before, but it was just like every section had like a big chandelier, like
Hmm.
that would be huge in a house, and there was like 50 of them. I don't know, like
Hmm.
probably 20. And like it was just huge. I didn't realize how big it would be like inside.
Yeah.
It was just huge. And we didn't wait. We walked right in. We
Oh
like just
wow.
walked. right in. Yeah, we didn't there was no waiting or anything.
How cool is
So,
that?
yeah, and we got to stay as long as we want. Of course, it's free,
Yeah.
because in France, I think all churches are free. And it was just beautiful. And both of the girls I was with have already been to Notre Dame before the fire, so they really saw the difference. For
Oh,
me, it was my
cool.
first time. So, but yeah, it was really cool. And then we went out to a little Italian bistro for dinner and had like a really long, like chillax dinner.
Wow.
Shared a bottle of wine. It was really nice a way to like end the evening. It was really cozy because it was pretty cold and wet the whole day. It was
Oh, yeah.
pouring all day. Yeah, it was
So
not good weather.
where was the ice skating at?
So it's in Le Grand Palais, which is in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can't remember exactly where it's at. I think it's near the
So it was
river.
so it was inside to cover.
Oh
Or-
yeah, it was inside. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Fun. Fun. Fun.
yeah. It was really cool.
Well, that's
Um,
I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I would like to we when we were there we got to walk around the outside of Notre Dame. It still had
well, that's the other thing. I've
fencing
never
around it.
even seen. Yeah, I've never even seen the Notre Dame without the fencing
Yeah.
that they've had. They still have scaffolding around the big spire.
Mm.
So they're still working on I don't know if they're still working on it or not.
Yeah.
Um, I think I was kind of curious how they were gonna figure out getting it done by December when we saw it in like June, and I was
Yeah.
like, "There's no way."
There's a lot
Um,
left.
but tons of money was poured into it.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because so there's a cathedral in Nantes. Obviously not as big, but it's a big cathedral.
Right.
Um, and it's right behind the castle. And it had a fire in 2020, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they say they're working on it, but there's been no progress. And
Right.
so it's interesting seeing like the Notre Dame that has all of this world backing, money wise,
Yeah.
and had this huge fire that was just devastating. And how quickly, even though it doesn't feel quick because it was 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
but basically 5 years, and, like but still how quick that is compared to, like, the Foch Cathedral. I don't know if it'll ever be
Yeah.
open again. I don't know. I think it'll probably take at least a few more years. I've never seen work being done on it. Um, I'm assuming that they did, like, the original, like, putting fences around and the original smoke damage and the stuff you have to do, but,
Yeah.
I mean, the money or the resources or whatever
Yeah.
is it's difficult, and there's a lot of, like, paperwork, especially for something like a cathedral.
Yeah.
So
I was reading an article that um with Notre Dame Dame anyway the that in I think it's all of France, but definitely in Paris, um, that if you disturb the ground more than 5 inches, you have to have a archaeologist there and do. And so when they were doing,
interesting.
they were very conscious to try not to disturb the ground in any of the spots that they absolutely didn't have to
Yeah.
doing any digging. But there was a couple of spots that they did, and then they found stuff, and it was like panic because normally when you find stuff like that, it's like everything stops and you spend years excavating and finding, and they're just like, no, no, we can't, no, no. And so that there was like all hands on deck, like all architect or archaeologists were like there, and they're like do. And they're like, this is, but every time that they would they'd find something would get them deeper, and they were finding. It was really interesting that
That is
uh,
really interesting. I didn't
because
know that.
I mean, it was just built and kind of built on top of being built, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's just yeah, it was yeah, it really is amazing that they got it done as fast of, and I mean, it burned the fire happened just before you got there, really. I mean, before you were
Well,
there the
yeah,
first time.
it was
You know, I mean,
months
it
before
happened
the fire.
yeah, it happened
Yeah.
just months before. So, um,
Well, and the other thing is with COVID, I mean, all other construction things stopped, but
yeah.
I mean, I think it was probably delayed for sure, but not as much as all other construction things. There was definitely things, not that I think it's a bad thing, but there was definitely corners cut. But I mean, when you have the president and like so many people from all over the world and so much pressure,
Yeah.
um, all these things, I mean, full steam ahead. I see no problem with it. I'm not like a judgmental, how dare they, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like, it's just so
Yeah,
interesting.
you think
What
about
does it take
3 years of
for,
COVID, you know,
yeah, how
in
much
that time
construction
frame.
was stopped because of the 3 years of COVID? For sure. How many things were in delay? And, like, how when you think about how complicated the structure was and how much pressure there would be from, like, working on it, it's just all these things that like, with the lead, like, we're watching a little documentary about it, like, a week or so ago, and,
Mhm.
like, there of course, this fire, like, released all this lead,
Mhm.
into the air, and, working on the damaged cathedral, you had to be at first until it was controlled, had to be so careful with the
Mhm.
lead. So they had to put on protective gear and were having to change it every 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
So imagine putting on protective gear. Okay, that starts a timer for 2 hours. You have to go all the way up the scaffolding, elevators, everything, get up there, get work done, and then you have to be down and changed in 2 hours.
Yeah, you got
Like,
about 45 minutes to get work done.
yeah, seriously, at that point, and,
Well, and
like, we've all
it's not just like changing clothes. I mean, you
no,
put on
it's a
gloves and
whole
then you tape the gloves and you tape the mask to the
yeah,
chest and the whole you're encapsulated completely. You tape your ankles and
yeah.
all that stuff and then you climb up and ride the elevator.
Oh my gosh. Well, Hugo and I were joking, we're like, "No, I think that the timer actually could have been 4 hours, but they couldn't go 4 hours without a cigarette, so they had to go down every 2 hours." 'Cause it's as long as a Frenchman can go without a
As
cigarette.
long as there wasn't lead in the cigarette, you're all right.
It's for
Well,
sure.
I can understand that. My problem, I would have had to pee as soon as I got to the top of this fire and be like, "I'll be back." Anyway. Well, it really is amazing. It's a testament to the French people that they got it done, that they had to resolve the government and everything to get it done. I know. Well, I don't. I think I know, but
Mhm,
having Lena here when it happened, it really affected her. I was um, having never been there, never been to Paris, and all that stuff. I didn't really understand. I don't think I still don't understand, but um,
mhm,
having her here and how it affected her, um, and not for the religious reasons or anything like that. That's it. Just it broke her heart that it had burned down. So,
yeah,
and I can think, I can imagine that people more linked in with Paris even than her were
mhm.
devastated by the
Oh, for
fact
sure.
that it was gone. So,
Well,
um,
and there's so many people that go there on a regular basis for mass or, like, for confessional and, like, different things for religious reasons.
yeah,
Um, and then for it to be such an iconic, this big thing, and I think it's very interesting.
yeah,
So, there's a lot of controversy about, like, around the opening, because it's very political and it's really worldly, like, to the point where the Pope and the current Pope, who compared to other popes is probably more worldly than past ones,
right,
in my opinion at least. And like he even was like, I didn't go because it was way too worldly. And then I was like, wow, that's really surprising to me. And then I saw like the DJs and like the lights and like it was like a rave outside and like, the different not at all religious songs
right,
sung inside the cathedral to open it. And it was like those
yeah.
kind of weird things where I was like, makes sense. like, "This is a little sad." I was like, "I don't think this is what the people
Yeah,
who made this originally were
right,
hoping," you know? But it is how, like, the world is it's very how France is right now, how the French culture is right now.
right.
It's representative of what it is, but
Yeah,
it was a little sad. I was like,
yeah,
"Huh."
yeah.
So,
But I mean, oh, that was me. I don't know if you could hear that.
yeah, what was that?
I, I leaned forward and was pushing on my space bar. So
Ah,
the
see.
yeah.
Now you can see the dog hair on your mic.
I was trying to get that off. I was trying to get that off the other day, but
Yeah,
that's just the Lee household. You're gonna get dog hair. Dog
it's
hair
true.
is real. So anyway, well, that is amazing. I wish I could I wish I could see that. So maybe,
Yeah, it was way cooler than I thought it was gonna be, actually.
yeah.
It was way cool. It
And you got
was
and you got to go to a mass there. That's really cool.
yeah, and that was really cool too. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
And, like, I felt like it wasn't, like, just seeing it, like, we were in the congregation, we had a paper, we were following along.
Right. You're
It was
saying,
all singing. It was a
oh,
mass that
okay.
was just yeah. It was only 30 minutes, and then there was gonna be another one, and we decided to sneak out before that because it wasn't gonna be just singing.
Hmm.
Um, and so, but yeah, it was all the priests came out. There was like a teenage choir,
Mm.
that was singing. Um, yeah, it was really cool. It was very beautiful. It was very serious. There was obviously a lot of people who were there for the experience like us.
Hmm.
And there were some people who were there a little bit less, like, seriously. I did
Less
have to, like,
reverent.
give the, stink eye at, like, a few grown adults who were, like, giggling and, like, laughing and talking really loudly, and I was like there was
were,
one point where
were
I
they
almost went
American?
up to
Were they American?
no,
Oh, okay.
one of the people I was, I think they were French, they were speaking French. But
Oh.
there was another group, and they might have I don't know what language they were speaking, it might have been Italian, it might have been I wasn't really paying attention, and, I almost went up to them and, like, tried to do, like, angry French because I was like, "They're not gonna know if I have an accent or not, I can make myself sound French enough." And I was like, because it was right before. And
Hmm.
the thing is, there was all these like little staff, like there was this like older lady who even like went and she like handed a paper to somebody, and then she realized that they don't speak French, and she's like, "Wait, do you read French?" And in English, and they're like, "No." So why do you want a paper then? Like it's just a waste of a paper. Like I think they were being, like, rude. She felt like they were being rude to or she felt like they were being rude or doing something too
Right.
touristy. It was kind of funny to watch her and, like, there's a few times where she put, like, because you weren't supposed to take picture or video, so she was
Hmm.
just, like, putting paper, like, the papers, like, in front of, like, their phone, and you turn it off, and, like, she kept telling people, she's like, "I will send you out of here if you are on your phone," or if which was good because there were some people who were this is their religious ceremony, like, you
Right.
know?
This is
I don't know how I would feel about, like, just a ton of people, like, it would make me feel like a goldfish in a bowl, like, it
yeah,
just but
yeah,
that's why they have all these workers, like, they were on the sides, you weren't allowed to take pictures of the mass, like, at all,
yeah.
and so there was a lot of I was watching, there's a lot of people who were, like, getting in trouble, they were, like, being like, "No," and, like, sometimes politely, sometimes, like, a little bit not so, depending on how the tourist was acting, if they were apologetic or if they were like, like, kinda thing. Um, so it was definitely interesting.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it was quite the experience overall. Um, so and overall really beautiful.
Yeah.
So
That's cool. Well,
yeah,
the Catholic Mass are very interesting. Very interesting.
it's quite
The
complex.
ceremony, the tradition.
Mhm.
Um, there's a lot
Yeah.
about that I that I really like. Um, but I don't know if
The
I'd like it
incense
every week type stuff,
yeah.
but I
Don't
do kind of like
Dad,
the
no, you would not.
no, no. But
Love
I
you.
like well, I like the tradition and the pomp and circumstance of it. Um, I think I'd like it a
I don't
couple
think
times a
you'd
year,
like
kind of like Christmas, you
yeah. I I don't think you'd like the getting up, the sitting down, the getting up and the sitting down,
know.
the getting up and the sitting.
Yeah.
You would after a little while, I could tell on the ride home from church, you'd be like, "Oh my goodness. We
But
had to get up 5
but
today."
it's also not a surprise, you know. I mean, like in our church,
No,
it's like, oh, we're up, we're down. Are we getting up or are we not getting up? You know, it's like it's scripted, you know, in
it's
those
scripted
men.
for SEC too. He even has, like, a thing he says.
Yeah, but
Hey,
sometimes
so,
it's just sometimes you just don't know. It's not quite as yeah. Sometimes you well, and it's not always the same. I mean, it's kind of like it kind of is, but it's kind of not too. It's like
it's for worship and then to get up when he reads scripture.
yeah,
Like, the main
sometimes you don't get up for a song, and sometimes you do. Yeah,
I don't know any except for communion, that's the only song you don't get up for. That's the only
I think last Sunday that I was there, not this last, but the one
no, no,
before that.
maybe
It was we sat for part of one song. It was I don't know. It just I don't know. It's yeah.
well, I gotta say, there was quite a
You're
few
right though.
people
You're
who
right though. I would it would get
we
old quick. I would get
yeah,
grumpy quick. There's
you would
you're
definitely agree.
absolutely you are absolutely right with that.
I do know you well enough that
Yeah,
it would not
no,
be.
I like the idea, but I don't think I could live the practice of it. It's I like the idea of rigid, you know, that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, but then I don't like
In pro yeah.
yeah, I don't want to have to. I prefer. I'm very glad I live in grace and not in conformity. So
I think that's the thing is that I am happy that in our belief, there is not this constant striving to check off these things that we
mhm,
can in reality never check off. We can never be perfect. We can never deserve our salvation.
right,
And in certain faiths that do either slightly lean into that or completely jump over to here's a list of the things you need to do and you need to do this and you need to do that. I'm am so happy that I feel like I have an understanding that God is saving me because he loves me and not because I deserve it, because I don't deserve it.
right.
And um yeah, I don't want to get into that too much in case it, turns into controversial or offending
No,
somebody.
we could go
Um,
deep down that rabbit hole, but the
but,
no. So um, and you know, and I'm glad that there are lots of options on um, you know, different Christian faiths that do that are more rigid for people that need and want uh, more of that, and others that aren't. So
yeah. Have
uh,
you heard of like that there's a really big wave of people going to church, like young people, especially men, and like Bible sales are apparently really up like this
mm,
past year. And like there's a lot of really young men that are going to church this like last year.
no
And there's a lot of people going to I think I don't know what the word
confession. No,
no just going to Catholic churches. I couldn't
okay.
like remember if it's like conform to Catholicism or if that's like a bad way to say it. I don't know.
Oh,
But there's a lot of people who have started to go to Catholic churches that haven't before,
oh, okay.
whether they were never believers or. But
Yeah.
I think there's something about like there being a raise in overall Catholic numbers
Oh,
um, in the U.S. I don't know about here,
oh,
but
okay.
in the U.S. So anyways, it's very interesting. There's people are talking about how there's a lot of a thirst for religion
Mhm.
in my generation,
Right.
specifically is what I've heard. But
Oh, that's
I think
interesting.
probably maybe an overall as well. I don't know.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's very interesting. It's very um, I feel like every once in a while we get like a big wave,
Right.
where it feels like there's, and I feel like that's kind of what's happening right now, which is a good thing. So
Cool.
yeah.
Neat.
Okay. Well, we were going to talk about resolutions.
Yeah, or plans of
How
the
far?
new year.
How far are we into the podcast?
How far are we into the podcast?
Start our.
Where's my timer?
We're
We're
done with our
25
introduction.
minutes. We're almost 26 minutes.
Good
So,
25-minute introduction, everybody.
yeah,
Welcome to the podcast.
welcome to the podcast. So, we're going to have 25 minutes of introduction. We're going to do 5 minutes of our the new year goals and resolutions, and then another 25 minutes of saying goodbye. Should be
Yep,
perfect.
basically. Welcome to Down a Notch, people.
We need to wrap this thing up, and 45 minutes later, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so plans for this year, um, to go to Washington D.C. and get a visa stamped out and sent to France, so that my kids can come home. As
It's like,
my
wait, what?
go to the State Department and just stand there until it's done.
Yeah. Is that the plan? Sorry, I'm bringing up my list because there is a very large list. Um,
Shocker, shocker. Lindsay's made a list.
yeah, shocker. So Lindsay this year is going full on, full steam ahead. No, I normally am like a little like, oh, I really shouldn't, New Year's resolutions are stupid, like all these kind of things. I am going like plunging in, deep dive, new
Mm,
year, new me, all the basic, whatever.
right.
It's good this year. I really feel like I needed a fresh start. I feel like a lot of like last year was constant transitioning of constant back and forth between countries and trying to figure out what I'm doing and just a lot of like go 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 and then like nothing like just and it led to a lot of really bad habits.
Mm-hmm.
And so the last few years my main objectives have been like get through the year and like have like a certain attitude towards the year, or of course trying to get closer to God is always one.
Right.
um, this year I have just like probably every kind of resolution that there is, about like having a better like attitude towards life and like trying to improve like myself.
Right.
Um, so my big one, the big dog, the top priority is I really want to like fall in love with like studying the Bible again. I don't
Oh.
really want to go like, oh, I want to read the whole Bible in one year, because every time I've done that, I get like caught up in like guilt of like missing a day and then I miss 10 days or 2 months, and like, or I'm just like speed reading the Bible instead of like just reading and studying and like learning what's going on.
Right.
I've also found that like this past year, I had a hard like time. I felt really bored with the Bible in a way. Like I felt like whenever I would go to it, be like, "Oh, I want to read the Bible," I'd be like, "I don't know where to start because I feel like I've studied everything, but I also haven't studied everything." So I
Mm-hmm.
had this weird, like, lukewarm view of the Bible. But in a way, because of that, and because I wasn't really diving into the Bible, now I'm like super excited about everything. And
Right.
so going through, like the Gospels, for example, doesn't feel like, oh, I've done this like a bajillion times.
Right.
I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be fun and exciting and like, you know. Um, and then piggybacking off of that, Hugo and I are trying to memorize like a verse per
Mm.
week,
Oh,
in
cool.
both of the languages, in English and in French. Trying to like, memorize and because I haven't done that since I was like in middle school.
Right.
Um, I'm also trying to like prayer journal more. I'm trying to off the reading thing. My goal this year is 52 books. I read approximately 50 books last year.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so my goal isn't that much higher than last year, but
Mm-hmm.
and that was one of the things that really made me go at the end of the year, like there was a few times where I really felt like God was being like, Lindsay, you read 50 books last year. You read, I don't remember how many pages. And
Mhm.
yet how much did you spend reading in the Bible? Like how much time did you spend reading the Bible? Like you
Right.
keep going, oh, it's like too much, but you read 50 books. It's like, okay, like maybe that's a little like, so
Right.
I'm also going to try to read like one nonfiction book per month, and I'm going to try to read 4 French books this year.
Oh,
So
wow.
like one per season. So I'm starting off with like little kid books, like a book for like an elementary school. Like one of those like chapter books. It's barely a chapter book. So I have that.
Right.
Um, and then there's some other things like putting down my phone is like one of my other kind of bigger ones. And really trying to use my phone as a tool and not just like as a time waster.
Right.
And finding other things to do than like, trying to lose time on my phone, whether it's by like reading or if I'm on my phone doing something more productive and
Right.
looking at it as, okay, I need to check my emails, I need to check my texts, I need to do this.
Mhm.
Um, I can't really cut off my oh, I think Hugo's home. I can't really cut off my phone completely because it's the way I connect with everyone back in the US.
Right.
And so I've found things like I have a switch on my phone, like I can double tap it 3 times
Mhm.
and it'll go black and white. Such a good idea.
Mm.
Hey, you want to say hi to Dad?
And the
How are
whole
you?
internet.
And the whole internet? The
I
whole internet.
I did already say hi to that in a way because I texted the chat.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Hey. Oh, I just made you disappear. How you
Well,
doing?
I am doing good.
Oh,
How are
good.
you?
I'm good. I just moved. I moved your window here. Hold on. Get you back up where you belong. There you go. How was work?
Good. That was a good day. Pretty good.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
good.
Nice.
That was
I I could see you. I could see you moving around on my computer for some reason. Your map was on my home screen.
yeah. But yeah. No,
Sorry, we
it's
got some
been
mail.
it's been a very busy day. So
Yeah,
Well,
I
that's good.
like the bookcase.
Yeah, I
The
showed him.
book.
I showed him.
oh yeah.
You're a good find.
It
Yeah.
So
wasn't fine. It's like should I get it? I was like, it's probably gonna disappear, and I didn't really look at it all that much. I was like, well, it's there, my car's there. Well, I'm gonna take it, and if it's bad, I will just dump it. But
just,
uh,
just put it back.
just put it back. But it was pretty nice. So
Nice. It'll look cool. I like it.
yeah,
I like it. So well, good. Are you
yeah.
quit judging?
No, there's something making like a wrinkly noise, and I couldn't figure out what it was.
Ah,
So
okay.
I couldn't tell if it was picking up on the thing, but I think it's just he has a new bag, or a
Ah,
new
I
old
couldn't.
bag that he's using. I think it's just making a lot of noise.
Okay.
It's
I
fine.
I could not hear
Okay, well that's good. Because on this side, it's loud.
it.
So,
So well, good.
anyways, we're going through resolutions. Do you want to share any of your resolutions?
Yes. Um, that's it.
That's it.
But
I think you'll be successful.
How many books do you want to read this year?
I want to read 12 books
Well, wow.
Read 12 books.
once a month.
One a
Yep.
month. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
impressive.
far, so far, I am not quite there.
Well,
Well,
you
I don't.
we're
haven't finished the month yet,
we're
and
not
you
I
we're not
haven't.
know.
halfway through. We're not halfway through January.
I'm not halfway through a book.
No, but you're doing pretty good.
I
He's reading
started.
like a complicated economics book.
Oh, there you go.
But
I would fall asleep.
you,
One page.
yeah,
Doesn't.
yeah. What are other ones? Yeah, just do. I don't know. Lots
The
of
verse
things.
one, I mentioned that one.
Mm.
There's new verses upstairs in the bathroom there, by the way.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I have a mission.
you could go study.
Yeah.
I'm making cards in both languages, and I'm putting them, like, all over the house.
Wow.
So, in the kitchen, and then in the bathroom,
Yeah,
and then by my
well,
bed, there's some. So, and then I have, like, a little notebook that's in my purse. I'm trying to write them there.
Right.
So, yeah.
Very
yeah.
cool. Very cool.
Anyways, so Dad, do you have any resolutions?
So I don't know. I'm not big on um resolutions per se, but I do have some goals for the year. I'm starting my 500 hours for yoga faith. So,
Ooh,
um, so for being a yoga instructor, I'm a 200 hour, so YT 200. I'm going for my 500. So,
wow.
um, another 300 hours of training. So, I also haven't started that yet, Hugo. So we're in a good, we're even right now. So, um,
Yeah.
this week
I'll be here.
I'll be starting on that. So, um, which is a lot of studying,
Yeah,
both yoga techniques and stuff like that, but also a lot of Bible, about a lot of Bible studying in that certification too. Um, so that's kind of one of my big kind of, if you want to say, academic type
right.
goals. So, um, some goals for fitness and things like that too. So, um, where
Yeah,
I'd
are
like
you
to
gonna
be.
go on a cut pretty soon?
What's that?
After you're going on a cut pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
He was not
So
officially part of the podcast.
on the here. So let me.
Here, wait. Do we need to like snuggle?
Yeah, you're right in the center,
We're not
Hugo. I'm
fully
getting
lit.
half of. There we go. Now you're both in there.
We have to stay here because it's not the full picture that's down here. It's like half of it.
I see.
Yeah,
You see,
All
yeah,
right.
it's the center. The two sides are cut off. So, oh, isn't that cute?
that's us.
So
Adorable.
there you go.
Adorable.
So yeah, um, my goal in February and March is to I want to take my body fat percentage down quite a bit and
Hmm.
see where that's at because I'm pretty close. Um, I'm not I've kind of bulked up in the last month or so on purpose, but
Mhm.
also with just Christmas stuff. But I kind of
Yeah.
let myself enjoy stuff and getting your food dehydrating and dehydrating ice cream and candy is not helping. So
Yeah, how's that? Is that your goal really?
that's my goal. So everything right now is freeze drying. I keep saying dehydrating, but freeze drying. So I freeze. So we went last week and we went to Leavenworth, um, and we stopped at the candy store on our way back. So for
Ooh.
those that don't know, over by
Ooh.
Leavenworth, right outside of Leavenworth, is this huge candy store that's 2 stories, and we went. Bless you. We didn't hear it, but we saw it.
Yeah.
The
Good.
um huge candy store, and they sell massive saltwater taffies. They've got like hundreds of flavors of saltwater taffy. So I bought a bag of mixed flavors, and I freeze dried saltwater taffy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Saltwater taffy is good. I mean, it's like I'm not like, oh,
Yeah.
you know,
I don't like
I have it's just okay. You know, so like it
right.
sticks to your teeth and um freeze dried saltwater taffy.
Mhm.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
It's yeah, it's a whole
Ooh.
nother level of wow. Yeah. It
Oh,
it's
that's good.
the saltiness comes out more and the
Oh yeah.
flavor is intense. It's
Huh.
so freeze drying intensifies the flavor of whatever it is. So
Yeah.
like
That
if
makes
you
sense then.
freeze dry spinach, so like when you get your green powder, it's most
Mhm.
likely freeze dried. Um and you know how that really intense green,
Yeah.
you know. that you get. That's pretty much everything that you freeze dry. It intensifies the flavor. I haven't done
Mhm.
meats yet, but with candies, ice cream sandwiches are amazing. So right now I have gummy bears
Mm.
in the freeze dryer, nerds, and a little bit of Starburst, I think.
Okay.
So um, did Starburst and did the whole Starburst, and
Mhm.
that wasn't wonderful. I chopped it up into 4 little pieces, so we'll
Mhm.
see what that's like. So, but I need to stop doing candy, start doing apples. So
Oh, apples
resolution:
are good though. Freeze-dried apples.
freeze dried apple. I've only done one apple.
Mm,
I did a bunch of bananas, and I cut up an apple, and I really like the apple. Bananas are well, it just it takes the banana flavor and like times it by 10. I mean,
that's crazy.
Wow.
it's like so sweet. The
Yes,
it's
we had Santa brought us freeze-dried candy, and
ah
he was very sweet. Like, it was really like, you could have, like, 1 at a time,
yeah,
and that was it.
it's super intense. Yeah, so yeah, the bananas are just really it's a lot. Um, like Martina doesn't like the freeze dried bananas; they're too sweet. So
Mm.
I did kiwis.
Mhm.
Oh.
The kiwis. I didn't really think about kiwis as being sour, but
Yeah,
they're a little sour.
if it was
So
intensified, I could see how they would be sour, yeah.
yeah, well, and especially if you're eating them with freeze dried ice cream, and yeah, it's a large taffy and bananas. It's real sour. It's like having orange juice with your
Okay.
pancakes. It's ooh, that's not good. So
Uh,
the kiwis will be better. The kiwis will be better when I'm not having so much sugar. So
yeah,
um,
that's true, I'm sure.
the but yeah, we're gonna focus on doing more fruits um, here shortly. But I wanted to get some candy done. So
Yeah.
that's that. So yeah, we'll be starting on the 16th. We are going on a cut. I'm gonna try to get down
Well,
um, into. So I do 2 body tests. One is at
mhm,
the gym, the in body, and then I do the DEXA scan.
yeah,
And they give different numbers. So my goal is on the in body to get it into the single digits, and
mhm,
on the DEXA to be in the teens. So
yeah,
um, which would be pretty for an old guy. That's pretty low. If you're down below 20
great,
and in your 50s, that's pretty lean.
yeah,
It's not bodybuilder lean. It's not like show lean type thing. That would be in the DEXA. I'd be in the single digits, which would be like
right,
um, which would be it would be fine to do for a short period of time. It wouldn't be healthy to do
right.
for a long period of time. So,
Well,
and
and
I'm
with
not planning on staying there. I just plan
supervision,
I'd like to dip down below, get
yeah,
into the
you
teens on the DEXA for a few
yeah,
months, maybe maybe into the beginning of summer, and then bring it back up a little bit. We'll see how I feel because it
yeah.
can be
Well, and
it
it's
can mess with your hormones and stuff getting down too low. So,
yeah.
but I don't think I'm
Well,
getting
and
that low.
even with a doctor supervision and a nutritionist supervision,
Yeah,
you're not doing this just because, like, I mean, you are, but you're not doing it willy-nilly without a
right.
plan. Like, you've been talking about this for a while, you've talked to everybody about it,
Yeah,
you have a plan, you have people watching over. It would maybe, could be a little bit not dangerous at your age, but not the best thing. Without supervision, can't
yeah,
things like that can go south, but
yeah.
it's
Um,
not.
yeah. No, I've gotten lots of advice from different people on that. So, um,
Yeah.
and not and it's not even something I recommend. I would recommend for people. It's just kind of a personal goal that I have just because I am close. I'm kind of in um, my journey there, my kind of my fitness journey. I'm kind of in an experimental mode where Last
Mhm.
couple years, I've been, just get into shape, and I think muscle wise, I think I'm in pretty good shape. Um, so
That
now
you
I'm
are.
now I'm playing now I'm playing around with other aspects of it. So, um,
Right.
yeah, more kind of experimenting with um, different workouts, different styles,
Mhm.
things like that. Where I've been in a focus where I've been doing almost all upper body, and then the lower body's just been maintenance, um,
Mhm.
to see um, kind of how that works. I've never done more body specific stuff, so I'm
Right.
at the end of that cycle. They call it a mesocycle. So I'm at the end of that mesocycle. This week is the peak of that, and then I'll go into um, a different meso. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm just kind of playing with stuff now a little bit, and so we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure I can do if I can get my body fat down that low
Right.
with what I'm willing to do. So it's going to take a lot of self discipline and stuff like that. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. So that some physically, and then I'd like to up my my lifting a little bit. My PR numbers. Um, I've
You're gonna try to lift your PR numbers while you're cutting?
just throughout the year. But yeah, I I I'm interested. I haven't with what I've been doing. I have not been doing heavy weight. I've been
Okay.
doing more hypertrophy work, so uh, more reps and doing
Right.
the upper body stuff. I'm not doing as intense, heavy stuff. So hopefully that's building my strength, and I'm actually getting those top numbers up. But yeah, no, um, yeah, I'm not sure how much I can. We'll see, especially towards the end, how much I'll be able to do. I think I'll be fine because I'm not going to be that lean where
Okay.
I'll be zapping my body out. Um, if I was in the single digits on the DEXA scan, uh, that it would be a little rough, I think. But I think being in the teens, I think I still should have the ability to gain strength. Um,
Mhm.
it's 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 an interesting to lose. Technically, you can't lose fat and gain muscle at the exact same time. You can
Right.
in the same era, kind of in the same week. You can gain muscle one day and lose fat the next kind of thing, but you can't.
Mhm.
Your body doesn't do well with that.
Right.
So it's kind of a catch 22 there. So you wind up
Yeah.
losing fat and a little bit of muscle. The goal is to keep as much muscle while you're losing the fat, and
Mhm.
vice versa is true. As you're gaining muscle, you'll gain fat. So,
Mhm.
but hopefully a lower percentage. So, anyway, it's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that I'm very much in the elementary stages of stuff that is can be very doctorate level things. So I I studying a lot, and I really don't know anything. So it's it,
You'll
it
figure it out.
it's fun. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Um,
Mhm.
so um, but so I'd like to bring those numbers up and um, you know more organized, more focused on just everything. So that's kind of my goals
Good luck with that.
for the yeah. So I'm trying to I got my office back together, and
That's
it's
nice. Yeah.
the fun part of taking my office downstairs for a couple weeks. Um, the clutter in here is down to a minimum, and
Good.
now
Thank goodness.
there's a huge pile of clutter in the basement on the floor, but that needs to go
Of course.
somewhere. But hopefully, I'm not just gonna. I'm trying not to just bring that up here and dump it in the office. That go through that and
Right.
throw away a bunch of stuff, or at least file stuff and things like that. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, the and your mom put a couple things on my to-do list, and so the back door actually closes. You don't have to hip check it to open it, and you don't have to slam it to close
Ooh,
it. It's a
that's
which I'm
cool.
not sure if that door ever worked since it
Nope,
was
never.
installed. I think it's always been hard to open and close. So I kind of thought that I didn't actually install that door. I don't think. I think somebody else did, but I kind of thought that the door was just broken, not made correctly. And so, but I took it all apart, put it all back together, and now it's really you almost fall out the door. You open the door and it just opens, and you kind of want to like put your shoulder into it to get it to open.
Yeah, you
So
I'll always have to check it, yeah, or and you just got
Yeah.
used to, like, it was normal to slam it,
yeah, you just
so
had to slam it, and it's kind of nice that when somebody lets the dogs out and you're still asleep, it doesn't shake the whole house. Um,
yeah,
it's really weird. It's just really odd when the door opens. It's like, whoa.
yeah,
So got that fixed. I also redid the front door so it closed. I didn't realize it wasn't closing correctly, but
right,
the dogs were having problems, um, or we were having trouble keeping the dogs either in or out. So, um, yeah, I got the stink eye when we left for the day, and the dogs decided to go in and out all day, and the uh, the mud on the floor was real. It was,
I
Oh.
bet.
and had just been mopped the night before.
Of course, well, that's always what happens the day after mopping.
Yeah.
So I was informed that that could be better. So we got that
Yeah,
fixed up. Got that fixed up, and it's really weird. It's really weird. So anyway,
okay,
just
well,
trying to get some stuff done around here and things like that,
nice,
and but yeah, so that's kind of our thing. So or my thing, but I don't know. We'll see.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's and hopefully you guys will be back before the end of the year.
Hopefully.
I know
Most.
that's what we were talking about is that, like, hopefully this year we'll hear about visas. We have to get my visa renewed in this next few months, and his visa, hopefully we'll have an appointment pretty soon in Paris, for his visa. But we haven't heard anything, so we're just waiting and seeing.
Nice.
And yeah, so we'll just have to kind of wait and see what that looks like. But we're hoping before we leave to do lots of traveling.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out maybe a Paris or not a Paris, a London trip right now. Um, so and we have some other. We really want to do like a south of France trip.
Yeah.
And then just do some other traveling. We're not really sure exactly what, but as much as
Something.
possible before we leave.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's gonna be a big year.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
That'll be exciting for you guys. Well, and I'm hoping you do get a chance to see more of Europe while you're there. I
Yeah,
mean, what a
Yeah.
what a great opportunity to go
exactly.
around. Where what's on your list of places to visit, Hugo? I don't think England is something that Hugo dreams about going to England. Um, I'm sure
I
he's be excited to be there with. What's that?
He
I want
wants
to
to
drive
drive.
there.
You want
I
to
just
drive?
want to
Oh,
ride.
I'm
That's what.
interested to see. I want to know how. I'm sure I could find it on YouTube or something. How that transition works because they drive on the other side of the road. How do you
Yeah.
get to the other side of the road? That's what
Just
I
all
want
of
to
a
know.
sudden. Well, I mean, we
No.
would be taking a ferry, so I'm just assuming that as soon as we get there.
Yeah, I don't know. It would just that transition just seems because there's a tunnel, right? There's a tunnel that goes across the channel.
There also is a tunnel if you. I think if you train,
I
Oh, do
think
you
it's a
go on the
train.
train? You
it's
I don't think.
you don't drive through the tunnel. You get on a train.
Yeah, I think if you were driving over
Oh,
there, I think you'd have to go
through the ferry.
through the ferry,
Yeah.
okay.
And
or from another. Like you can drive from like other countries, but not from where we are.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Well,
so
Yeah,
yeah.
you have
okay.
to drive through other countries.
So
Okay.
that's That's my big plan. Driving in the UK, maybe going
I kind
to
of
Greece. I'd like to go to Greece.
Yeah, we would like to go to Greece. It's just tricky. It's feels like there's always something going on in Greece that makes it so we cannot go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I saw you got to observe a protest or something on your way home the other night.
Yeah, that was fun. So an old conservative politician in France died, and there
Okay.
was a celebration by a ton of young, stupid, drunk people. Um, I'd
It's always
probably say,
it's always great. It's always great when one side celebrates the death of another side. It's
yeah,
just a bad look. We both sides do it. You know, what I mean, but
it's
it's
ridiculous.
like really,
Well, and no matter
Mhm.
they could have been protesting for world peace, quote unquote, and they could have had the best intentions. They could have been protesting against China for killing dogs.
yeah.
Okay, but these people were horrible. One, they were all drunk. There was like probably close to 500 of them. It was late at night. They're being loud, but also they had three people with like sticks of fire they were flinging around,
I
and then
can
they
see that in
tried
the video. It
to
looked like they were juggling fire
like,
or something.
yeah, and then they, like, fake burned, were teasing an ambulance, that they were gonna burn the ambulance, like, pretending that they were catching it on fire and stuff,
Nice.
like, while they were just trying to drive through, and then there was another ambulance that, luckily the whole crowd, they kind of let them through, but it wasn't
Hmm.
that quick, that actually had somebody in it, but the people with fire had already passed by that point,
Oh,
so
okay.
but still, like, it was just like when that happened, I was like, "Okay, great. Well, this feels a little bit more dangerous."
Yeah.
Like, you never know, a group of 500 people late at night, like,
Yeah.
drunk, there's that group mentality is just scary, no matter what
Yeah.
it's about. Because
Yeah.
it wasn't about that. For most of those people, they don't really care. I mean, this guy was 90 he was, like,
96.
96 years old.
Wow. Wow.
E I'm sorry, most of these people don't really care.
Yeah.
Like, it just most of these people are just doing it because it's what their friends are doing, and it's they're going out on their Tuesday
It's an
night,
excuse. It's the excuse just to be rowdy.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is
The people that really care are our grandparents' age.
Yeah.
yeah,
So, and they were not in the street.
no.
Not that
Yeah.
I think so.
And I'm sure, I
Well,
mean, a
So,
lot of people, he did not have, the best of political views,
right.
but the people who are out protesting at night on a Tuesday in the middle of Nantes, they
oh,
don't yeah, I'm sorry.
I have an interesting fact about Nantes.
Oh, great.
Okay, so Nantes is, I heard that this morning, is the fifth worst place to drive in France.
Makes
Oh,
sense.
really? Fifth worst.
Yeah,
Is
and
Paris
Paris is
is
not.
Paris the worst? Oh.
No, apparently it's Bordeaux.
Oh, Bordeaux.
Oh, but I
Paris
can,
is definitely worse
but
than driving in Bordeaux.
can I see that Bordeaux?
Bordeaux is, I mean, it's bad, but it's not as bad as Paris.
I saw it too, but apparently it's
Well,
Bordeaux, Paris,
I wonder
and then
how are they deciding it?
it
How many
was
crashes or something, or
it was
just
made in Bordeaux. No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
it's
like,
probably the amount of like insurance claims per
yeah,
person
this must
type thing.
be
So
something like that.
it's probably
Paris is so much as
It is bad.
Paris is so much worse than driving in Bordeaux. Bordeaux, I'd say, is about equal to Nantes. I feel like, but probably because I've been in a car more in Nantes. I
yeah,
feel like Nantes is almost worse than Bordeaux. But I'm sure that if I spent more time in Bordeaux, but we only
right.
did a week. It
Yeah,
wasn't that bad for a big
it was
city.
pretty bad
It
though.
was pretty bad, but not for, I mean, big city. But like, I feel like Nantes is way more stressful.
Really.
And we
But
drove right in, like, in Bordeaux, we drove right in the middle. It's not like we were on the outskirts. We
yeah,
were right in the middle, and it
Yeah.
wasn't that bad.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know anything about Bordeaux. We didn't go there, but Paris, that was intense. That
Yeah.
was
Exactly.
that
Now
was probably the most intense. Um,
the real highway around Paris, like
tr-
all the highways, are now
yeah,
like 30 miles an hour
yeah,
during the
it's
day,
yeah,
even
it's
faster at night.
that was a lot there. I was not. Yeah, Mexico can kind of intense, but the amount of people, the driving I think was crazier, a little bit crazier in Mexico, but there's not as many people where we were at. Mexico City is huge. I'm driven there,
Yeah.
but the how close everybody was together in Paris, and just all the things going every direction. I was very impressed with Hugo being able to handle that. I was like, no, this is too much.
No, it's
Very cool.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So, well, we should probably end the podcast because it's been quite,
yeah,
a long podcast. But um, Happy New Year's, everybody.
Yeah. Bonne année.
yeah. I lost my
I
timer. I don't know how long we've been going. So
think we've been going
yeah,
for around an hour.
yeah, yeah, but right about an hour. So well, good. Well, it's good to see you, and good to see you. Thanks for joining us, Hugo.
Of
Good.
course. That was fun.
And we'll actually like wrap it up early, without the 45
The
minutes of
25 minutes of us wrapping it up. Yeah.
all righty. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys all later.